This is going to be a live presentation of some Zapruder Film slides that I have. I recently got hold of this 35mm slide projector, and I'll be showing every single slide I have that I have time to show, including some higher quality ones. So I'll just be using my wall as the screen. So alright, so I might wait until some more people join, then we can get started. Alright, we got some people watching. Alright, this is going to be a live presentation of some Zapruder Film slides I have with a slide projector I recently got. So I'll start in a few minutes. Hello. Alright. Sorry if you can't hear my voice too well when the projector's on, because the fan is pretty loud. So, yeah. Alright. It's not that clear, is it? Yeah, it's just a title card I have. Okay. That looks alright. We'll be starting off with frame 161. These slides I got from Kenneth Zedeker, who got them from Robert Groden. He made them back in, I believe, the 70s. So I think the focus is good now. Try and get it centered. Alright. Again, I don't know if you can hear me that well, but I'm going to go ahead and start. Let me see. Okay. That is a bit too bright. Let me see what I can do about that. Yeah, okay. You can sort of see it there. That's frame 161. See, it's not very well aged. Go ahead and do the next one. This is frame 162 now. You can see this one isn't very well aged either. These are all pretty faded. The dyes have faded. You can see there's frame 162. Let me see if I can a little bit better in focus. That looks a little bit better to me. I don't know if you guys can see that. Here, I have a better surface to do this on. There, that's much better. That's 162. I'm not sure if I can make it so, yeah, I'm just gonna have to hold it, so, yeah, there's 162. Now I'll put it. This is 172. See Rosemary Willis on the side here. Robert Croft is right there. And there's Phil Willis. You can see the Stemmons sign right here. Might be able to that looks a bit better. Alright, yeah, we'll just do it like that. Alright. Next one is 181. Again, that's 181. You can see that the presidential limousine is more in focus than the bystanders down here and in the background. The Stemmons road sign is slightly better than the bystanders, but the limousine is the best in focus. Now this is frame 191. You can see it's very blurred. You can see that the president's arm is beginning to fall to his side, probably in reaction to a shot. This is frame 199. You can see the limousine is starting to be covered by the Stemmons freeway sign, and Rosemary Willis has stopped running. You can see the president's arm is beginning to fall a bit further now. To move this out of the way. Alright, that should give us a little bit better view. Can't seem to find the box that I have of the ones in the 200, so I'll go ahead and start halfway through those with 254. It's 254 right there. See if I can get it a bit closer. There we go. That's 254. See, the president has begun to slump forward. Governor Connolly seems to have reacted to a shot. You can barely see Bill Greer is looking back at the president. And this is 268. You can see that there's a street lamp right there. And the president is almost fully slumped down in his seat. Governor Connolly is looking back at him, still holding his Stetson. And both Kellerman and Greer are looking back at the president. This is 276. You can see the president is slumped down. Governor Connolly is almost fully turned around. You can see the back of Roy Kellerman's head and the street lamp at the very left side. You can also see some, I believe, I do not remember who, I think that's Charles Brem coming into view at the very right. This is a blow-up of frame 281. You can see Governor Connolly is right there, and Jackie is seemingly distracted by Governor Connolly. See, Natalie Connolly is looking directly towards Governor Connolly. Up at the top of the frame, you can see there seems to be mold starting to grow. This is frame 300. You can see Mary Mormon in the background there with Gene Hill. You can see the president is completely slumped in his seat. Both Kellerman and Greer are looking forward now. Governor Connolly seems to be bending backwards. Nellie Connolly is seemingly concerned. You can see Jackie is now turning her attention towards the president. I believe this is frame 306. You can see Mary Mormon on the right. The president is again fully slumped in his seat. Governor Connolly is again bending back, and it seems that William Greer is looking back at the president. Frame is this? I believe this is frame 312. Again, you can see the president fully slumped in his seat. Jackie has all her attention paid to the president. William Greer is still looking back, with Roy Kellerman looking forward. And Governor Connolly is being attended to by Nellie Connolly. You can see there's quite a bit of debris up there. This is a blow-up of frame 312. You can see Roy Kellerman looking forward and William Greer looking back at the president. You can see Governor Connolly being attended to by Nellie Connolly and the president slumped forward. You can see this slide has started to fade as the dyes towards the bottom are turning a purplish red. This is yet another blow-up of frame 312. You can see this one has also started to fade. And of course we can see the same things I mentioned. The president fully slumped forward, William Greer looking back at the president, and John Connolly being attended to by Nellie Connolly. This next frame is the most graphic of the set, being frame 313. If you don't want to see it, I suggest looking away right now. That's frame 313. You can see Roy Kellerman is looking forward, William Greer is looking back at the president. John Connolly is slumped backward towards Nellie, and the president has been hit by the fatal headshot. Of course, you can see a streak of blood being projected into the air, and another more faint one right there. This is frame 314. I can't get much closer than that. You can see this one has quite a bit of debris up there. You can see the obvious head wound. I did not buy these, someone gave them to me. And no, they're not for sale. Again, that's frame 314, the frame after the fatal headshot. That's frame 315. This one isn't as dirty as the others. You can see the very obvious head wound. William Greer is still looking back at the president, and Connolly is still slumped in his seat. The president is starting to fall backwards now. This is frame 316. You see the president is again falling backwards, the very obvious head wound, and William Greer still looking back at the president. Connolly still slumped in a seat towards Nellie Connolly. This is 317. Again, the president is falling backwards. William Greer has started to turn his head forward now, and Connolly is still falling back towards Nellie, and he is looking forward now. Of course, you can see the black patch on the back of the president's head. It's very controversial. frame 319. You can see it's very blurred due to the reaction of Abraham Zapruder. This is 319. I believe the last one was 318. I'm sorry about that. This is 319. You can see the grass behind the limousine is in focus, but the limousine is not. Again, the very obvious head wound to the president, and Governor Connolly seems to be looking forward now. This is a blow up of frame 320. You can see the president and Jackie are blurred in the frame. You can see the very obvious head wound. You can see the roses right here. And you can see Governor Connolly on the very right-hand side. This is frame 321. You can see the very obvious head wound. This is a blow up of frame 323. And you can see the very obvious head wound in the roses. And Governor Connolly is now fully looking forward, and him and Nellie Connolly are starting to lean forward. This is frame 343. You can see Jackie is reacting to the president being shot. Both Governor and Nellie Connolly are completely leaned forward now, and Roy Kellerman is beginning to lean forward. You can see James Oltgens holding his camera up with Richard Buffin right next to him, and Oltgens' camera bag right there. You can see Jackie is beginning to climb onto the trunk. This is frame 367. You can see Clint Hill is climbing onto the back of the limousine. You can see Jackie is climbing onto the trunk. Natalie and Governor Connolly are fully ducked down. Of course, you can see Jack Franzen right there. And there's one of the sprocket holes on the side. This is frame 378. You can see Clint Hill is climbing onto the limousine. Jackie is stretched out upon the trunk of the limousine. You can see the brake light is illuminated on that side, but not on this side. You can see all of the rest of the passengers are looking forward with Nellie Connolly and Governor Connolly slumped down. This is frame 379. You can see Clint Hill right there. Again, the left brake light is illuminated, but the right one is not. Jackie is stretched out upon the trunk. You can see Governor Connolly is starting to look back at Jackie. This is a blow-up of frame 382. You can see the brake light, again, illuminated, but this brake light is not illuminated. You can see Clint Hill climbing onto the back of the limousine, and you can see Jackie stretched out upon the trunk. You can see there a very faint image of the Continental emblem on the right rear of the limousine, and you can also see the license plate. And there is some debris on this. This is a first-generation copy of frame 413. You can barely see the limousine behind the tree, and you can see what appears to be a hat. You can see Clint Hill right there. You can see this lamppost, as well as some cars in the background. Of course, you can see some vertical scratches on the film. That would be in the first generation copy this was made from. So, in technical terms, this would be a second generation slide, meaning it is from a moving first generation copy that was made directly from the original. This is a very large blow-up of frame 413 showing the figure with the hat that I pointed out just earlier. You can see the entire left half of the image has been overexposed to point out the figure right there. This is frame 414. Again, you can see the figure down here, but it's a little bit more difficult to see. The limousine in the background behind the tree. It's the limousine in focus now. Clint Hill on the back of the limousine with Jackie beginning to go back into the seat of the limousine. See the American flag right there. Of course, you can see the lamppost on the side and the vehicles in the background. This is frame 454. Of course, you can see the picket fence coming into view. You see the lead car right there under the underpass, and the limousine approaching the underpass is going to pass the lead car. You see Clint Hill right there on the back of the limo, and not much other detail is seen other than the American flag on the front right of the limo. Of course, you can see the trees on the knoll. I believe this is another copy of frame 454. You can see the American flag in the limo and Clint Hill on the back of the limo, but not much other detail on the limo. You can see the police lead car right there and the picket fence, as well as trees on the knoll. This is a blow-up of an unmarked frame of the Zapruder Film. I'm not completely sure what frame this is, but you can see the picket fence right there. You can start to see behind the picket fence, but it seems to be covered by some trees. You can see the underpass in the background with what seems to be the top of a lamppost right there. This is another unmarked frame of the Zapruder Film, one of the very last frames of the film. You can see the trees on the knoll as well as the picket fence, but the limousine is not in view. This is a letter from J. Edgar Hoover concerning the misprint in the Warren Commission Zapruder frames that were published. This letter is dated December 14th, 1965. It reads, Dear Miss, reference is made to your letter dated December 6, 1965, to Special Agent Lyndall L. Schoenfeld regarding the labeling of two of the Zapruder frames numbered 314 and 315 of the Commission Exhibit 885 in Volume 18 of the hearings before the President's Commission on the Assassination of President Kennedy. You are correct in the observation that frames labeled 314 and 315 of Commission Exhibit 885 are transposed in Volume 18 as noted in your letter. This is a printing error and does not exist in the actual Commission Exhibit. For your information, the slides from which Commission Exhibit 885 were prepared are correctly numbered and are being shown in their correct sequence. The National Archives is aware of this printing error, however, I do appreciate your interest in this matter. Sincerely yours, John Edgar Hoover, Director. The following are blow-ups made from selected frames of the Zapruder film made by Robert Groden in the 1970s. These were made for various purposes. This is an extreme blow-up of frame 212. You can see Jackie's pillbox hat and a motorcycle in the background, as well as a motorcycle helmet right there. This is an extreme blow-up of frame 224. You can see John Connolly on the right. He is looking directly towards Zapruder, and the President emerging from behind the Stemmons Freeway sign. This is an extreme blow-up of frame 225. You can see the President has fully emerged from behind the Stemmons Freeway sign, and John Connolly is still looking directly towards Zapruder. The government is reacting to a shot. This is a blow-up of frame 237. You can see the President has his arms up to his face, and Governor Connolly has reacted to a shot. This is an extreme blow-up of frame 238. You can see the president has his arms up to his neck, and Governor Connolly has reacted to a shot. This is a blow-up of frame 315. You can see the very obvious head wound. This is a blow-up of frame 316. You can see the very obvious head wound, as well as Jackie looking seemingly directly towards the ground. The president is being thrown back and to the left. This is an extreme blow-up of frame 317. You see the president is still falling back and to his left, and Jackie is still looking directly towards the ground. This is a blow-up of frame 320. You can see the president is almost fully fallen back and to his left, and Jackie is still looking directly towards the ground. This is a blow-up of frame 413. You can see the figure I pointed out earlier with the hat, and not much else. This is another blow-up of frame 413. Again, you can see the figure with the hat I pointed out earlier. This is a blow-up of the images behind the picket fence on the grassy knoll in the very, very end of the Zapruder film. this completes my presentation of my Zapruder Film 35mm slides. Again, that is the title card that I showed at the very beginning of this live stream. That concludes my presentation of my 35mm Zapruder frame slides. I will now be taking questions, and I can show any more slides that I have. I have quite a few. I know it was a very crude setup I have. You can see just had my projector right there. I was feeding the slides into the slot, projecting them onto my white door. If anyone has any questions about these slides or requests for me to show any more of them, I'd love to hear your suggestions. I have made prints from the higher quality slides that I have. There's an example of one. It's a 4x6 print. I believe that's 236. And that's one of the earlier prints that I have of, I think, 188. No, that would have been 153. Of course, these slides are 35mm in format. These are the extreme blow-ups I was showing. This is an example of one of the higher quality slides I was showing. This is 316. Of course, these are all obtained from Robert Grodin's personal collection. I do happen to have copies of every single Zapruder slide, but I did not want to show them all, because that would take quite a while. There is 486, and blow-ups of every single one. I also would like to announce I'll have more details about my Dealey Plaza reenactment very soon. I have the film I'm going to use in my possession right now. This is the 8mm film, and I have 2 rolls of professional color slide film, E100 film. The slides themselves, I believe most of them are later than first generation copies, but there are a few that are marked as being directly from a first generation copy of the Zapruder film. Of course, that was just a very brief overview of the slides I have. I have quite a few, and it would take a very long time to show them all, probably a few hours. I have about 2,000 Zapruder Film slides in my possession right now. That's including blow-ups and several copies of every single frame. Of course, these are all directly from Robert Groden. I forgot to mention these blow-ups are Ektachrome. Interesting that you asked that question, Randy Wagner. That's actually very relevant here because what got me interested in the Kennedy assassination was seeing the Zapruder film for the first time. That was only a few years ago, back in 2021, that I saw that for the first time, and it got me interested. You can hear more of that story on my first appearance on the Ocelli Effect back in September of 2023. I also have in my possession right now all of the cameras I'm going to be using for my Dealey Plaza reenactment in June. This is Marie Muchmore's camera, which is a Keystone Electric Eye K7. I also have Charles Bronson's camera, which was a Keystone Olympic Turret model K35. I have Tina Towner's camera, which is of course a Sears Tower Verazoom. And yes, all of these work. But I don't know if this one is fully wound. Oh yeah, it is. And of course, I have Mark Bell's camera. This one's interesting in that the button to run the camera is on the front. His was a Kodak Brownie 8 with no other identifying marks on it. A very cheap plastic camera. I have Phil Willis's camera, which was an Argus Autronic 1. This is an interesting camera because the button to activate it is right here on this knob. This is not fully functional right now, so I'm debating whether or not to use it in my reenactment. But yeah, it's not loaded if you're worried about that. Of course, this is Robert Croft's camera right here. It's another Argus camera, though I forget what model. Of course, very metallic camera. You can see the button to activate it's right there. There's no film loaded in it right now. And I'm not entirely sure how to use that one. It's somewhat confusing. So the only one I'm missing as of right now is Abraham Zapruder's camera, of which the person who lent these to me cannot find his, and mine that I have is unfortunately broken. So I might potentially get to use Robert Groden's Bell & Howell 414 PD camera, which was Abraham Zapruder's camera. I would like to thank my middle school for being so kind as to gift me their projector that they had, as, as well as the manual. Uh, and that's the projector I used today, which was a Kodak Actigraphic 3A. Um, I won't say the name of the middle school out of for privacy reasons. If anyone has any more requests for slides that they want me to show, I'd love to. I have some slides of autopsy pictures. In fact, I'll show one right now. And here I'll show you how I load this. I don't have the correct magazine right now, so there's the title card I had earlier. This is the autopsy slide. Simply put it down in there, turn the lights off. Yeah. So if anyone has any requests for slides they want me to show, I'd love to hear them. And if anyone wants me to show any of the Zapruder slides again, just tell me a frame number and I'll get it out. I have seen the Men Who Killed Kennedy. I haven't seen all of it as it's 7 hours long. And I have listened to part of the interview with James Files. I actually got to meet him on the 60th anniversary of the assassination. And I took some footage of him behind the fence. I personally do not believe him. I've discussed that before. But yeah. I would like to say that on May 24th, I will be on Rob Clark and Borelli's podcast, The Lone Gunman Effect, or The Lone Gunman Podcast. I'll be discussing the other Martin film that I found, which I have right here. I believe this to be John T. Martin's film. Of course, John T. Martin took that film of Oswald in New Orleans and on Edwin Walker's house in Dallas. And I'll also be talking a bit more in detail about my reenactment in Dealey Plaza in the second half of June. I do not have an exact date yet. Of course, I'm in the process of scanning all these slides that I've shown. I have a few in here. You can see they're marked Berkey K&L, which was a professional processing lab in New York, that Robert Groden would process a lot of his film at. Of course, he would make the he would make these slides himself from his copies of Zapruder Film and just get them developed at Berkey K&L. Here's my entire shelf of Zapruder Film materials. These are slide trays completely full with frames from the Zapruder Film. These, I'm not sure what format these are. They seem to be 16mm, but they're a bit too large to be 16mm. If anyone can tell me what format that is, I'd love to hear. Of course, I got my 2 copies of the Zapruder Film back there on 8mm. Even more of those slides. These I just had out because I was looking at them earlier. Here's an interesting one. This is a extreme blow up with some computer overlays added onto it. It's hard to see. Do have a lot of materials right now that unfortunately can't show on here. I've been asked not to. I did have a chance to meet Judith Ferry Baker. I also do not believe her. Though she is very sweet lady. I'll give her that. I met her at Oswald's grave on the 60th anniversary of the assassination. At some point within the next year, I will be releasing all of Frank Sturgis's phone calls that I have. I have a few hundred hours of Frank Sturgis's phone calls for 1975 and 76. The only thing is I've yet to transfer all of them. When I do, I'll release all of them in a long compilation. I've done about a little over, almost half of them. So you can see I have quite a bit of slides laid out everywhere. My Zapruder prints over there, and this is my desk over here. I've had to move it so I could use the door as the projector screen. I would show my bookshelf, but I've got some things on there that I'm not supposed to share, so I can't point my camera over there. So my bookshelf is right here. Of course, my other bookshelf is over here. That's everything I have on there. See, I got an 8mm projector up here. And yeah. Of course, I got a lot of these 8mm home movies down here, not particularly relating to the assassination. Here's the Frank Sturgis phone calls, some miscellaneous film canisters. There's some tapes I have and some documents I have down there I'm sorting through right now. There's some movie film I have up here. Yeah, there's some film over there. Of course, I've got this very large print of a documentary entitled Research to Protect the Tropics. It's 1,200 feet of 16mm color sound film. So that would be about 300 to scan. So I won't be doing that anytime soon. I do happen to have an original Jack Johnson slide in my possession. It's directly, this was in the camera when it was taken. It's not a copy, it's an original. That was taken on November 23rd. I really want to announce another channel that I made a while ago entitled The RFK Theorist. We'll be focusing more on the photographic evidence surrounding Robert Kennedy's assassination in 1968. I've released quite a bit on there already, and I'll be releasing even more when I get a hold of it. I recently contacted the California State Archives, and they're going to share with me their entire RFK photograph collection. I will go ahead and conclude this here because I don't have much more to say, and I don't seem to be getting too many questions. So thank you for watching, and I might do another presentation like this sometime again. Thank you.